Hey everybody, ChristopherOdd here. I am here to announce the successful candidates for the Season 4 XCOM Enemy Within Roleplay. I have to say, I am extremely overwhelmed by the amount of support that this series has gotten before it's even started. There were over 180 applications that I've read through, and yes, I've read through every single one of them. And what I've done is I've went through and just picked out the ones that stood out to me that I found entertaining or different, and some of them are like, people were just normal. Some of them had some more interesting things happening. But it's hard for something like this not to be really subjective. So my apologies if you didn't get in. Unfortunately, the majority of people can't participate because it's kind of a limited amount of people that will actually show up in the game. So I wish I could get everybody included, but I don't see this series, this roleplay series, dying off anytime soon. So as long as people are interested, we'll keep doing it. So with that said, I do have 28 soldiers selected. I also have the positions of Zhang, Valen, the Sky Ranger, 5 interceptor pilots, and 1 scientist filled. But I am still looking for a couple of positions if anybody's interested. So we're still looking for Annette Durand, Dr. Shen, and maybe a couple of engineers that would report to Shen. The engineers and Dr. Shen can be pretty active in the roleplay because they're always doing stuff, they're always involved, so that's a cool opportunity. And then maybe another scientist or two if anybody is interested in that. If somebody really wanted to, I suppose you could apply to be Bradford, because he's kind of involved a little bit. So what I'll be doing is opening up another thread that will be linked in the description of this video where people can apply for just those positions. And if you've already, if you're one of the successful soldiers, then obviously you cannot apply to be one of those positions. But if you didn't make it through for your soldier or your other submission, then by all means you can apply to be one of those that I listed. So there'll be a link in the description. You can check out that post. Also, I'll have a link to all of the successful candidates in the description, so you can jump directly to those posts. There are 28 soldiers, as I said, and then the other positions that I listed. So there's quite a bit of reading, but it's worthwhile to do so. There's some really interesting submissions, and I gotta say, it's intimidating because some of you guys are extremely good writers, and I wish I could be that good of a writer, but I'm not. And I find it fascinating that you guys are able to craft these stories from nothing but your imagination, and I'm really excited to see where this goes. Now, the way I'm going to announce these individuals is in the order of time that they posted. So if you posted earlier, I'll get to your name sooner, and if you posted later, I'll get to your name later. But this is not the order that they're going to become active squad mates in the game XCOM. So what I'm going to do is I'll be picking people randomly from the approved list that I'm about to share with you that will be our starting 12 kind of roster in XCOM once we start it next week. And then from there, once we get new soldiers, we will be able to bring you to the base. And once you're in the base, then you can start writing the journals and things like that. We are going to go with 1 post per video for now. If it looks like it's something that we can increase down the road, then we'll do that. But I think it's going to make for a more streamlined and approachable roleplay experience for everybody, not just the people writing it, but also for myself and also for people that just want to read the journals and find somebody to root for. Personally, that's what I like doing. I like getting like hooked onto certain soldiers. I do that in all of my XCOM playthroughs, roleplay or not, and that's all the fun for me. I really enjoy that. So without further ado, let's start showing you the successful soldiers. So first up, we have Rebecca Robinson. This is by the member Surus, and as you can see, quite a detailed application. And I would encourage you to take a read through there. I'm not going to read through all of these. I'm just going to introduce them to you, and then there's links in the description, so check those out. Next up, we have Tarmus Gorefest by Grelite, and Grelite has done a lot of work with the XCOM role plays in the past. He's done some admin work. He's helped me out with that stuff. And I may be in touch with some other people on the forum in order to do some forms of moderation so that I'm not doing it all myself. And I'll reach out to you So Grelite with Tarmus Gorefest is in. Next, we have The Meaning of Bread with Elizabeth Pazzo Gray. And one thing that's interesting is actually there's a lot of female applicants, and I think that's really cool. I don't know if people are writing female characters as, you know, real-life males or whatever, and it's totally cool if you want to do that. But I just think that's great that we have so many different people involved, and especially from the female population, being that typically XCOM is not a very female-oriented game, so I think that's great. Next, we have Sarge Pepper with the character Stephen Maltus, aka Steve, aka Dozer. Okay, so go and take a read through that one. Next, we have John Knight, and the username is Johnny Knight, so playing really as himself. And again, very, very detailed write-up with psychological profiles and everything. So congratulations, John Knight. Next, we have Hassan O'Connor. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. This is by the member SharkDragon96. Next, we have Ryan Chen by Then Lar. And I like this. The subject has a call sign Crow. I think that's cool. I don't know why. Also, they were born in Canada. So, you know, bonus points. No, I'm just kidding. Next, we have McLaren Anderson by Etriax. Birthplace, Green Bay, Wisconsin, United States. And again, pretty detailed stuff. I really like it. Next, we have Dennis Largo by Disco Panda. And absolutely beautiful avatar there. Really, really well done. So you guys should head over and check this one out. Caroline Southway by Prisma Cube is in. Welcome to the squad. Alexia Concerto by Jacob Applehoof. Welcome to the squad as well. I know I've actually talked to Jacob in, it was in some of the Let's Discuss series that we did on Google+. And I know he's a big advocate of bronies, as you can probably tell by his avatar. And he's the one who actually taught me what those were. So I think that's really interesting. Welcome to the squad, Alexia. Next, we have Richard Kuklinski. This is Rosen OX5. Some people call him Rosenpedia. And I'll let you figure out why. Next, we have Francis Gamer, nickname Fookme. I don't know. Username is GameRex, or yeah, it would have to be GameRex27. All right. Next, we have Lucas Winters from the user Frozen Messiah. Congratulations, welcome to the squad. Next up, we have Michael Franciscus Maria Voten. Longest name ever, but welcome to the squad. The username is GMV. Very cool. Next up, we have Oliver Grant by Sir Byron the Nomad. So head on over and check this one out. Next up, we have, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, but it's either Cicania or Sisania, or Sicania. I'm not sure. And then Elrisich? I'm not sure. I need clarification on that. But they're born in Israel, and the username is Wedge Cree. Next up, we have Abigail Black by Julia Maluka. If Julia Maluka sounds familiar, she's actually one of the soldiers in my Enemy Within second wave playthrough that's happening right now. And she is kind of a weird, like, heavy medic combo thing that we got going on there, but very cool. So welcome to the squad. Next up, we have Michael Angel, nicknamed Guardian. Okay, and this one's really interesting. I like when people just have creative ways of writing, and just right off the bat, he was like, Michael Angel hated his name for good reason. And I just think that's, like, I don't know, it's a really cool way to start your entries. It's just creative and caught me off guard. And this is the member Quasar Flame. Next up, we have Chris Cole, nickname Inhumane Human by the member Inhumane Human. Really creative write-up, and I like that a lot. He's a professional chef, which is kind of cool. But, yeah. You're in. You're in. Welcome to the squad. Next, we have James Nightingale Marine Avenger. And again, a really interesting start to his write-up. Just kind of caught me off guard. Head on over and check this one out. Next up, we have Daniel Velou. Adremelik is the username. And he did kind of a... I thought this was really cool. He put shrunk to be considerate. But he did his whole bio in this longer write-up. But did it in such a way that it wouldn't take up a lot of space on the forum, which was really interesting. So somebody knows how to do cool BB coding, I think it's called, that I don't even really fully understand. Next, we have Matilda Becker. Summer Juliet is the username. So this was an interesting read as well. Head on over and check this out. Next up, we have Peter Pikulski, nickname Reaper. And the username is Quelpsh. Quelpsh? Man. Some of these are really difficult to pronounce, but head on over and check this one out. Next up, we have Hokuchiyo. See, this actually has pronunciations. It's not even easier. Raito Futo by the member Hokucho. Okay, so welcome to the squad. Next up, we have Thomas Sosh by Pickle Cannon. Then we have Arseny Lamarck from Gatineau, Quebec. That's very close to where I live, actually. And this is Prince Zarek. So welcome to the squad. And then our last soldier is Tariq Hassan by Captain Loken's Mustache. And this one's funny because this username is funny because Captain Loken was like one of the snipers from one of the first seasons that we did. And yeah, I just thought that it was funny because he did have a rad mustache, as you can see. So that is the last soldier. So I'll introduce you to the rest of the gang as we go along here. So the next person that's joining is Shajui Jang, and this is going to be played by Dragon Ivan. What's one of those? And he's going to take on playing Zhang, and his write-up's really cool, and he seems like he's a pretty talented writer, actually, so I'm excited to see what he does with this. Next, we have Cerise Valen, and Valen's an interesting character, but this is going to be played by Cylon, and it'll be interesting to see how Cylon plays this, but take a read at the biography because it's quite interesting, and I think they did a really good job with it. Next up, we have our Sky Ranger pilot. This is Leroy Jenkins, nicknamed Big Sky, obviously. And I liked his write-up. I thought the name was really clever, obviously. And it's by the member Evil Breaker. Okay, so welcome to the squad. That's our Sky Ranger pilot, Leroy Jenkins. Now I'm going to introduce you to the interceptor pilots. So we have Alexander McCraig by Choppy Chop. He is probably going to be stationed in Asia. We have Samuel Random by the user Strafe, who's probably going to be positioned in North America. Next up, we have Guilherme Weber by Guilhudo, who is probably going to be placed in South America. I believe he requested that. Yeah, here it is. So there you go, South America. Next up, we have Denise Shadix by Buttons, call signs Buttons. I think that's pretty cool. Looking to be an interceptor pilot. And she is going to do that in Africa. And our last interceptor pilot is Brian McBride, who is going to be the interceptor pilot in Europe. This is a user, Bob Jimbo. So welcome to the crew. That's awesome. Next, and last but not least, this is just a random scientist. Gallo signed up. Gallo's been around on the forums for quite a while. Signed up to be a scientist, and I think I'm really interested to see how this plays in, like what kind of stories are going to happen with this random scientist. And one of the things to keep in mind with the scientists is that you actually are going to report to Dr. Valen. So anything that Valen says kind of goes, and it'll be interesting to see how that dynamic gets built over the course of the roleplay. So that's it. That's everybody that's been approved so far. We have 28 soldiers, 12 of which will become active very soon. We'll have that video starting on Sunday following this one, so a week from when you see this. And as a reminder, we still need a couple of people. We need Annette Durand, We need Dr. Shen, a couple of random engineers that would report to Shen, and then another scientist that would report to Valen and could work with Quincy Fuller here, the scientist. So I'm really excited. I think this is going to be great. I know that a lot of people probably wrote up these things and then they might not have been able to come back, or they've kind of dropped off the radar, but I'm hoping the people that I've picked are people that are going to be around when we start the role play. And for now, we are going to do 1 post per video, so 1 post per week. The post can be as long as you want, but we'll probably open that up down the road, and we'll see how it goes. So I think we get the 12 recruits to start. Those people will be available to post. I'm going to look at seeing if I can figure out a way for the other, what is it, 16? I have 28 in total, so yeah, 16 other people. I don't know if we're going to open that up to posting just yet, but wait till you become active for now. Reminder that Annette's crew that we find, she also has 3 friends, but we can totally customize them. So out of that 28, the 28 sized initial group, 3 of those people will become kind of Annette's soldiers that join XCOM with her. And you're going to have some really strong will and some high probability of becoming psionically gifted. So that's really cool. The other thing to keep in mind is that I'm going to be doing some second wave options, specifically the one where it's either gene mods or psionic modifications, so that we don't have like these crazy super soldiers. I actually really like that. And then some people will become mechs, some people will get the gene mod, some people will become gifted, and some people will just stay normal. And this is going to be really interesting because we haven't done a role play with Enemy Within yet, and it's going to be crazy to see how people utilize these things back at base. But remember, there are some very specific rules put in place from the very first post. Let me see if I can find that really quickly here. Go to this post. I'll have a link, and it's still going to be within the forum. But there's some rules about, right here, some very important additional notes. Gene-modded soldiers aren't quite as visibly distinct from regular soldiers as mechs. The only visible distinctions are the points where the tubes were attached. The orange pulses and glows, though appearing in the game as a visual distinction for gene-modded soldier, are not something that should be considered a reality. So you're not walking around like glowing or anything like that. This also goes for the super jump and combat rush. They do not have a visual trigger, it just happens. The only gene mod that can visually represent itself is a mimetic skin, which obviously can render a soldier nearly invisible when up against a large surface, which is something that can be used around the base in roleplay. So there are things that you can utilize, like mimetic skin around the base, but if you get caught doing things that you shouldn't be doing, there's potential that you're gonna get kicked out of XCOM. And boom. You're gone. So respect the rules. There's a lot of them. For everybody that did the applications, I was actually very impressed. There weren't a ton that got excluded just because of mentioning aliens and stuff. There were a few that didn't follow the rules, but for the most part, it went really, really well, and I'm excited to see what you guys do with this. One thing that I'll toss out there, I got a private message the other day on Grey Lines Gaming, and somebody had asked if I would consider taking a soldier and joining the troops on the battlefield from time to time. I'm unsure if I'm going to do that, but we'll see. I might change my mind between now and next week. But it could add a different level of immersion, obviously for myself, but for everybody else. If the commander's out there, they might want to be on their A game and things like that. So it could be interesting. Another thing that I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to set up more scenarios for you guys. Be a little bit more involved in giving you some clues of things to discuss back at base. So if somebody dies, you know, maybe we open up the bar for everybody and you go and you have drinks and you have a party or whatever. Maybe there'll be other times where I put some strict rules into place on things that you can and can't do at the base that week, just based on my own craziness or whatever. I don't know. I'm going to try to be a little bit more involved in the roleplay aspect, but I have so many other things on the go that I can't fully commit to be there all the time. So I'm hoping that I can try to do a little bit more than I have in the past. And at the end of the day, I'm just mostly excited to see what you guys are going to do. So thanks again for the support, guys. as I've said about a million times already, I'm really looking forward to this, and I think this is going to be the best roleplay yet. So let's get ready for it. We'll see you guys in a week on the first mission. Hopefully everybody survives, because if they don't, someone's already dead. It might be one of you. Goodbye.